Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Bell. Today's Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute your phones. You can do this by pressing star 6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing star 6. It's very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. So welcome, and we'll start by welcoming my fellow commissioners. Commissioner Fournier, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
And Commissioner Scar, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, we will jump right in. President Eric Swanson, President of Adventist Health, is not available today, so let's get started with the Coastal Caucus. Do we have Rep. Javity with us this morning? Give him a moment to unmute if he's there. Last week he told us he hoped to be there even though the short session started this week. How about Senator Weber? Well, if Rep. Javity or Senator Weber join the call late, please jump in because we'd love to hear from you. So let's go on then to Camille Sorensen and the Tillamook County Community Health Center. Camille, are you with us? How about Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy? Gosh, it's early in the call for all these folks, so they may not even be on yet. Amanda Bunger at Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Are you with us?
I am here. Hello, everyone.
Oh, good morning. Good morning.
Hi, yes, I'm here. Well, today I was thinking that since we had the end of quarter, I would talk a little bit about our mobile crisis. For quarter 4, from October 1st to December 31st, our mobile crisis team responded to 24 callouts. And if you don't know what mobile crisis necessarily is, it's our ability to go to where individuals are having a difficult time. So we don't expect them to come into the office. We don't expect them to necessarily go to the hospital. We come to them. And so when I talk about mobile crisis, this is, again, we receive information that someone is in the midst of a mental health crisis, and we respond. And so we did 24 of those in that quarter. But I think most interestingly to me was that 16 of those, of the 24, were diverted away from the hospital, and we were able to successfully do safety plans with them and referrals to other services, including our outpatient services. So in essence, we diverted about 2/3 of all of the individuals we saw that were having a very hard time away from the hospital and away from needing to be admitted. So I think that those are really important numbers to get out into the community, because I know many times we hear, we just send them up to the hospital and then they're admitted and we can't get them out, or they don't receive the services that they necessarily may need. And so I just wanted to kind of, give a kudos this morning to our mobile crisis team and the amazing work that they do, and really, again, meeting folks where they are and providing services where they are. So that's my update this morning.
Well, thank you, Amanda. That is really important, and I don't think it's widely known or understood how many people end up in the hospital because they are in a crisis, but it isn't necessarily a medical crisis that the hospital can treat. So it's such important work. Thank you for highlighting it.
Yeah, and of course, when individuals do need to go to the hospital, they really are a danger to themselves or others, and that's not necessarily a bad thing that they do. Clearly, they need that level of care, but I do think it's important just to highlight that there are a lot of instances where we can keep folks at home. So, but thank you for the time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Do we have Sheriff Brown with us this morning? It's the first Tuesday of the month, and we often have the sheriff with us on this day.
Good morning, Commissioner. I am here. I did not miss it this month.
Hey, good morning. Nice to hear your voice.
So actually, with the conversation going on about Mobile Crisis, I will actually give kudos to them as well. We have used them multiple times since the project, or since the group was formed a number of years back, and they have been phenomenal to work with. There are many scenarios where we are the first responders to calls where somebody might be in crisis. Um, we're quite often the first responders to those situations, and naturally we have some level of training, but we are definitely not the experts in crisis. So being able to call them and have them either show up in person or talk to a person on the phone has been amazingly beneficial. They've even responded out to our jail when we have situations where it's needed. So Mobile Crisis has been great. I hope it continues. My kudos to them. So for my report, I don't have a whole lot to go on. Just January is kind of a slower month. Excuse me, compared to summer months, but I do have a few stats. First one is our total number of calls for service that the sheriff's office responded to or dealt with was 1,666. That number is still pretty big, even though it's considered a slow month. I'm not sure what the average is per day if you look at that, but more than 1,600 calls in 1 month is still a lot for our sheriff's office to handle. Of those calls, 26 of them were disturbances. That's just shy of about a disturbance a day if you average it out. 33 motor vehicle accidents. That's actually just a hair over, 1 a day if you average it out. We had 13 arrests from our office, and we wrote 52 case reports from those calls. Now, it is important to remember too, and I'm not sure that I've actually touched on this, but the number of MVAs that I gave, the 33, those are crashes that the sheriff's office has responded to, or it's been assigned to us. That's not a direct indicator of how many crashes, for example, have happened in the entirety of the county. Calls may go directly to Oregon State Police or Tillamook City Police, and those agencies or offices may handle those without even showing the sheriff's office as being part of it. So the number I give is what we respond to, not necessarily how many crashes have happened in the entire county. So that's just a bit of side information. Self-initiated or proactive policing, our business checks, which we do late in the evening to make sure businesses are secure and that we're keeping an eye on them. We did 167 of those in the month of January. We attempted 175 civil services, which is a requirement of sheriff's offices to provide as a civil service. And we had 243 traffic stops. Now, like I said, those are proactive, and we don't do those to generate citations. I don't have the exact number of warnings, but we generally run 50 or 60% of our traffic stops are warnings. We do that to try to gain compliance and keep our crashes down and try to keep people safe. So that's a good number for this month, 243 traffic stops, with the hope that it keeps people safe. So that's the stats I've got. Like I said, I kept them fairly simple this morning. I do want to briefly mention we've had a lot of posts on our page about abandoned RVs. We've had a recent post where there was we had worked with solid waste and issued some papers that outlined ordinance violations. A lot of comments come up there, certainly more than we would ever be able to respond to. But what I want to say is that we are actively trying to work towards cleaning a lot of these up. There's a lot of hurdles that we have to go through, and we are doing our best as we balance the 1,600 calls a month that we have to deal with on top of that. There's really not a whole lot more that I can say about it, other than we are working towards getting things like this into compliance. I do want to mention and thank the other department heads, Sarah and Justin and Chris, of course, our county attorney, Brian. I definitely want to thank Commissioner Fournier for convening the group that really works hard in the last handful of months to try to get these enforcement actions to where we can gain compliance into effect. and focus some energy on our ordinances and cleaning those up and enforcing those. So thank you to Commissioner Fournier for convening that, and thank you to the other directors for being a part of it and working together as a team. So with that, I can take any questions.
Thank you, Sheriff. Do we have any questions for the sheriff? Well, if not, we'll say have a great day and thanks for your report and move on to emergency management. Randy Thorpe, are you with us? Well, I can mention some emergency management things in my commissioner talk. So let's move on to ODOT and Bill Jablonski.
Good morning, Commissioner Bell. How are you? Bill Jablonski here.
Well, thank you. Good morning.
Good. I'm glad I'm prepared and ready to go.
Excellent.
Hey, let's talk about Oregon 6. So I just want to swing back and just acknowledge the patience and endurance that the folks in Tillamook County, Washington County had during the closure at Mile Point 35 from right around the Christmas time until just recently, mid-January, before we had that open. I just a huge shout out to folks who were patient and gave grace to our contractors and inspectors who were out there trying to stitch that highway back together. Just some general stats about that. That was 500 feet of road slide that took place at Mile Point 35. It took us about a month to put that together. The good news is all those costs that we incurred for that repair for that highway are eligible to be reimbursed at 100% at the federal level. The governor did declare, excuse me, the governor did declare a emergency for us for that event in December. So we'll be putting in our requests as well as other locals who have suffered damage on their federal aid routes for reimbursement for those repairs. So that was good news. We did spend about $2 to $2.5 million for that 500 feet repair to stitch that highway back together. New asphalt, base rock material, guardrail, and striping. So good for the ODOT team on getting that together very quickly. Again, thanks for everyone's patience locally who had to endure through that route. The other things I want to talk about Oregon 6 is we have 3 construction projects that are underway. They've been awarded, and the contractors are getting their feet underneath them, getting their submittals in place for us to be able to approve them to start the work. As you recall, over the past several months, I've mentioned these particular projects that have been in design phase, but now we're switching over to actually going to construction. So the first project I want to talk about is the Oregon 6 barrier project. That's the replacement and the upgrade of guardrail and concrete barrier replacement on both sides of the highway between Banks and Tillamook. That's going to be ongoing through the year. There's going to be notices that go out about certain sections of Oregon 6, just to be aware for traffic. The contractor might be able to perform some of that work on the shoulder side and not actually have to take a lane. But there are some locations where there's some of those curvy blind spots on Oregon 6 where the contractor will have to take a lane and flag traffic during the day for us to be able to do that work in those sections. Those will come up, and I'll share those with folks, including the websites that have those updates on the traffic control situations as I get them. The other project we have going on is the paving job on Oregon 6 between Mile Point 4.4 and Mile Point 9. That contract has been awarded. However, it's not really paving season right now. The paving season is more in the late spring through the summertime. There are sections of that road, which is a 4-lane section. So when we have those sections there, we can pave during the day and keep 2 lanes open while we pave the other 2 lanes. There are some sections that are only 2 lanes or a lane in each direction. That's going to be kind of hard to queue traffic during the day for those. So most likely we'll be paving those 2-lane sections at night. Again, as I get notices from the contractor as far as what their schedule looks like, they usually give us a 3-week look ahead is what we call them. We'll be able to get those out to both Tillamook, Washington counties, and associated other folks who travel that section. The last project I want to bring up is the coating and steel strengthening being done at Devil's Lake Fort Bridge, which is Mile Point 32 on Oregon 6. That contractor is about to mob, in other words, get their equipment all set up for starting work next week on Monday. We did have a last minute change from the bridge section that really wanted to do the steel strengthening on that bridge at the same time that we had the contractor for coating, which are painting the steel repairs. That's going to require us to load rate the bridge temporarily during construction. We just resolved this issue yesterday with our mobility folks, and notices then we're able to go out through the freight and trucking industry. So the impacted loads that are going through there are the ones that will require a permit. Those are the folks that are what we call heavy haul permits, heavy haul loads that normally would have to go through ODOT for a permit, and then we figure out kind of a route that those loads can actually take. The steel strengthening activities on that bridge is require the contractor to take a lane. So there's containment that's going to be built under the deck that supports the tasks and the effort and the safety of the crew while they strengthen the steel of that bridge underneath the decking. That's expected to take through August of 26 at the latest that will take. Hopefully they'll be able to get through that sooner. So I just want to update the folks. We did have a last minute change on the restrictions of the loads going through there. However, the loads that we normally see, like logging trucks, truck and trailer trucks coming from the creamery, or truck and trailers that you normally see, the semis that we call them going through there, those folks will not be restricted. They'll be able to pass. Assuming they wait their 20 minutes in line, since we'll have that single lane. But it's the larger folks, like the self-propelled cranes that you see that go through sections of I-5, some of the lower trailer type equipment that is being carted on some of those low boy pieces of carrier, which are mainly equipment like field logging operation equipment that goes from A to B to be set up in different locations. Those folks will have to take a different route, and our ODOT motor carrier will assist those folks in finding that route. Usually it'll be 26 and 101 and trying to bypass that temporary closure on Oregon 6. With that, I'll stop and pause for any questions and see what else people have.
Thank you very much, Bill. Do we have any questions for Bill?
Yeah, Commissioner Bell, this is Paul. I just wanted to make a couple of comments. One, I just appreciate ODOT's involvement on these calls. And I just want to let people know behind the scenes, for example, the report he just gave about the Devil's Fork Bridge. I received several texts and phone calls yesterday. There was initially confusion that this would affect, our normal fuel trucks, dairy trucks, logging trucks. And it doesn't, as he said. I really appreciate him clarifying that. There was a lot of concern. And I just want people to know behind the scenes as well that we're very lucky to have Bill and Mark Buffington being our guys here, because I'll tell you what, although some folks are saying, why are they focusing on painting a bridge, or why are they focusing rather than the big problem? The reality is, if we don't address these other concerns that were identified in Senator Weber's bill, it's just going to get worse. The guardrails are failing, and the bridges, we don't want that bridge to fail. So I just appreciate the focus is not just on the obvious, but the other maintenance issues that if we don't address, things will be much worse. And I just appreciate the communication between the two. I can text. I think it's rare for a commission to be able to text ODOT officials and get actual immediate response on concerns for the public. So I just wanted to give Bill kudos, and Mark as well if he's on. But thank you. That's all I have.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner.
And it's great news that the damage on 6 is qualifies for FEMA assistance. That's terrific news. Thanks for sharing that. And thanks for the rapid response on 6. It was a very serious problem, and ODOT resolved it really quickly. So thanks for all your service and for being with us on this call.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure to participate every month.
Okay, before we move on to the Board of County Commissioners, I'd like to circle back to some of our community partners and just check in and see if anyone from the Coastal Caucus has joined us. And if not, how about Camille Sorensen from Tillamook
Yes.
Family? Good morning.
Good morning. This is Gail Nelson from the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy.
Good morning, Gail.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. I do have a couple of announcements. And first is that Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy recently participated in a roundtable discussion with U.S. Senator Wyden and staff. And our conversation focused on rural healthcare access, workforce challenges, pharmacy sustainability, and behavioral health needs. And I just want to point out that these discussions help ensure that our rural and coastal communities are represented in federal healthcare policy conversations. And I will add that it was good to see Eric there as well from Adventist. And also, our dentist is currently participating in an international dental service mission, providing care to underserved populations, especially for children. So we're very proud of Dr. Holmes' efforts and our providers' commitment to service, equity, and professional excellence. And that's it for me this morning, unless there are any questions. And thank you once again for the opportunity to share this information.
Thank you, Gail. We appreciate your report. Any questions for Gail? Let's move on to Camille Sorensen and Tillamook County Community Health Centers.
Good morning. I'm sorry I
Good morning.
just missed you earlier. February
okay.
is kicking off with American Heart Month. It's time to raise awareness about heart disease and cardiovascular health. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States, and cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death worldwide. You can follow these tips towards a healthy heart, including learn about heart disease, learn about the risks of heart disease, and how to identify and manage heart-related conditions. Exercise, try to get at least 150 minutes of moderate physical activity each week. Eat well, like reducing sodium, and increase your fruits, vegetables, and whole grains in your diet. And talk to your doctor. Ask your doctor about your blood pressure, cholesterol, and your A1C levels, and follow your doctor's recommendations to manage any heart-related conditions. And soon we will be hosting our all-ages walk-in vaccine clinic on February 22nd from 12 noon until 4 p.m. No appointment is necessary, and vaccines are available for parents, children, caregivers, anyone. The vaccine clinic takes place just before Oregon Immunization Exclusion Day on February 25th. Eligibility for vaccines vary by age, and many health plans cover the cost of vaccines. If you are under or uninsured, a sliding scale fee is available. No one is turned away for their inability to pay. And finally, we want to make sure everyone is aware that Tillamook County Community Health Clinics and Public Health will be closed on Monday, February 16th in observance of President's Day. And that is all I have for you today.
Thank you, Camille. Well, let's move on to the Board of Commissioners update, and we'll start with Commissioner Scarr.
Well, good morning. Thank you. I will be quick this morning. My focus in February will be the short session. I will be heading down to Salem this afternoon. All the commissioners are actually going to visit with the Grand Ronde Tribal Council, which will be a really great afternoon. We're going to do a quick forest tour. Should be really good connection with them, which is great. But after that, I will be zipping over to Salem to do some testimony related to the budget. They have an open hearing this evening to hear from people about their concerns related to budget fixes that will be done during this session. So I will be there in my role both as a Tillamook County Commissioner and as the president of the State Association of Counties to remind state legislators of the partnership between counties and the state. So many of the services that we offer are services that are mandated by the state, that we are their service delivery mechanism. So we want to remind them of that as they look at the budget at this time and determine what things they're going to cut, to remember that even though it may appear that it will be painless to the state from their perspective because it doesn't directly impact their budget in terms of what the state offers, but it does when you consider that the services that come from the county are required by the state. So just always busy reminding them of the partnership that exists and that we must always work together. So that'll be this evening. And then tomorrow I will have an early morning testimony. The Association of Oregon Counties has been in existence for 120 years. So it's a very long-standing, strong association, and we will be doing a recognition in the Senate a week from now. And tomorrow morning is just an informational session for all of our legislators to prepare them for that session in the Senate. So then this Friday, we will have the first round of our AOC steering committee meetings since the session is open, since all of the bills have dropped. So after Friday, and then also on Monday, more steering committee meetings in Salem. I will have a much better bead on everything that is in the legislature that is of concern to counties overall. We do know that the transient lodging tax bill is coming back. We are aware of that one. There are two bills. I don't have their numbers in front of me, but one will be in the House, one in the Senate. So we do know about that one. We do know that there will be transportation work that we will be a part of. We do know that there is a farm stand bill that the Association of Oregon Counties has taken a support position on. Other than that, I don't have any of the specifics, but more to come following that work this week and next week. With that, I will turn it back to you, Commissioner Bell.
Thank you. And Commissioner Fournier.
Hi, yeah, good morning. I don't have much more. I just wanted to thank Sheriff Brown for his report, also his kudos. But actually, he and the rest of the directors of our solid waste, community development, and public works are really doing the hard work and heavy lifting on taking care of some of those code enforcement issues with properties that everybody is familiar with if you live in Central and North County and South County. So we are addressing them. I appreciate him mentioning it and staying on top of that. And yeah, I just also wanted to echo Commissioner Scars. I was going to mention that in the coming weeks, you may not see a lot of us around. We are going to be driving back and forth to Salem quite a bit. And she has a much more eloquent way of saying that we're making sure we don't get any more unfunded mandates. And if we could try to minimize the ones that we currently have, and I appreciate her work on that. That's all I got. Hope everybody has a good day. And I am looking forward to meeting with the tribe today.
Well, thank you, as am I. A little history on that. Before COVID, in my first year as commissioner, and this is my 8th, so that tells you how far back we're going, the tribe and the Board of County Commissioners used to visit each other annually and take turns hosting a joint meeting. And it was, I went to one of those early in my term as commissioner, and it was delightful. I learned a lot about the tribe and the interaction, the relationship between the county and the tribe. And then those meetings fell off because of COVID and haven't been reestablished until this year. So I'm very excited that we're the tribal council visited us recently. We're going to visit them today, and I'm really happy to get that cadence going in terms of honoring the relationship. And I wanted to mention, this is a fun thing, Art for the Heart. Camille's report from the Tillamook County Community Health Centers reminded me of this. Art for the Heart is an annual art show that's held at the North County Recreation District and organized by Adventist Health. And I started that event when I was the Director of Communications and Marketing for Adventist Health, maybe 15 years ago. And so after I left to become a commissioner, they continued the tradition, I was happy to say, because it's really a cool way to raise awareness about heart health in our community, engage the community, engage artists in our community. And so artists are invited to submit pieces that are either about the anatomical heart or about something that touches your heart, etc. So it really is wide open. And I haven't been to see the show yet. I think the opening was just a few days ago. But I've seen pictures of it online, and the show looks beautiful. So the show hangs, Art for the Heart hangs at the North County Recreation District art gallery and through the month of February. So I encourage everybody to go see it. It's really lovely, and it's all community artists. And the other thing I wanted to mention, just because it's fun, is also a community event. The Emergency Volunteer Corps of Nehalem Bay has this is the 3rd annual event. It's a fundraiser event, and it's the top emergency chef contest. And this year they asked me to be one of the cooks. So it's very fun. If you think about cooking shows that you've seen on TV, it's sort of like that, but it's hilarious. It's very fast, and you can only use shelf-stable ingredients. So the idea is, in a disaster, if you only have canned food or dried food and no water and no heat, what would you feed people? So it's a little bit preposterous. I've been experimenting with recipes. None of them are very good yet. I have a few more days to dial it in, but it's for fun, and it's a fundraiser for EVCNB. My fellow contestants will be the Wheeler Mayor, Denise Donahue, and Sergeant Mike Sims of Manzanita. He's the police department, Manzanita, and he's also the Manzanita emergency manager. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll let you know. Well, the contest is next Tuesday night, so I'll let you know in a couple of weeks how it turned out. And with that, I will move on to the cities, starting with Manzanita. Give somebody a moment to unmute. Well, if Manzanita, if you're there, jump in. We'll go on to, is there anybody on from Nehalem or Wheeler? How about Rockaway Beach?
Good morning, Mayor McNeely here to report on Rockaway Beach.
Good morning.
All right, let me get to it. Rockaway Beach, we're coming on 2 years into our 5-year strategic plan. It will help inform the next fiscal year budget, but it's time now to do an update. So we're working with SSW Consulting, who worked with us on our 5-year plan, to assist us with a refresh of the plan in late summer, early fall. This will ensure our revised strategic plan is ready for fiscal year 27-28 budget planning. Our update offers the city an opportunity to connect with the public again, hear from our newest counselors and staff, and ensure our strategic plan remains a relevant guiding document as we move the city forward. Updates and scheduled public meetings in late summer and early fall are forthcoming. So I'm particularly excited about that upcoming event. Having a strong sense of where our community wants us to go helps us do the right stuff with our budget planning. Recently, we have seen an increase in illegal rinsing and cleaning of boats at the Lake Lytle boat launch. We have contacted both the Oregon State Police and the Sheriff's Office Marine Deputy for assistance. The city is planning to purchase and install additional signage as soon as we receive the recommended wording from law enforcement, ensuring that the message is clear and supports both education and enforcement efforts. And a big shout out to Councillor Conruff for her persistence on this issue. We've added management costs now to our draft forest stewardship plan, which is estimated at $25,000 annually. If we do the work in-house, of course, the expenses will be reduced considerably. We also added a one-time thinning project expected to be completed within the next 4 years. This thinning work will accelerate the forest transition from a commercial production stand, basically a big tree farm, to a more natural forest with all the characteristics of an old growth forest. It'll never be an old growth forest, but we can move it forward to act like an old growth forest and support our need for a long-term sustainable source of clean water. We're going to seek grants to cover the estimated cost of that thinning of about $158,000. After a final review of the draft forest stewardship plan by our advisory committee, it is currently under review by the Department of Environmental Quality. Once we receive comments back from DEQ, the comments will be incorporated into the plan, and then the final forest stewardship plan advisory committee meeting will be held. During that meeting, the committee will review the final plan and have an opportunity to make a recommendation to the council for possible approval. Our next emergency preparedness meeting is on Wednesday, February 4th, which will feature the Red Cross with a disaster preparedness discussion, including planning, building a kit, and staying informed. So I hope all of the residents in Rockaway Beach do attend that, and we invite people from the surrounding communities to also come and attend that meeting. And then finally, my monthly update with a look back at January 2026 is now available on our city website. With that, back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate your report.
Thank you.
Let's move on. You're welcome. Do we have anybody on from the city of Garibaldi? How about Bay City? Give them a moment to unmute if they're there.
Are you looking for Bay City?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. This is Leanne Welch, Mayor of Bay City. We held a community workshop last Thursday, and I wanted to thank the community members who attended. We probably had 40 people at this meeting, and this was a discussion and a listening session for the expansion of the urban growth boundary under House Bill 1537. And what I heard from our community is that they love Bay City. They talked about the things that were important to them in our community and the things that they didn't want to see in this new development potential. So that was just really a great listening session. And again, thank you to everybody who attended that and made it a success. The Bay City Arts Center is having the Artist of the Month this Friday at 5 p.m. And that's a free event at the Bay City Arts Center. And Saturday, they have an Indigenous music and dance Saturday at 6 p.m., and that's $20 at the Bay City Arts Center. The Bay City Arts Center just doing amazing work, and they're working on a play with youth for the Harcourt and Troll that David Madison wrote. So a lot of exciting things going on. And I am taking nominations for the John Getman Volunteer of the Year Award. So if you know anybody who's been an outstanding volunteer in Bay City community, please put your nomination into City Hall, and I will receive that and put that with the other names that we have. And that's all I have for Bay City today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Let's move on to the city of Tillamook and Sean Lewis.
Good morning, Commissioner. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you.
We want to talk today. One, I sound like a broken record because we have city council openings that still need to be filled. We have planning commission openings that need to be filled, and we have budget committee openings that need to be filled. So please, 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 if you live in the city of Tillamook and are interested in participating in our city government, come chat with us here at City Hall. We can find a place for you. But mostly, we want to talk today about the biggest topic that has been at our city council meetings over the last 3 or 4 meetings has been downtown parking. The city council has had several people come to our public comment period of our meetings and talk about the need for changes to downtown parking. And as we have gone through the ordinance and looked at what's happening downtown, we realized that the ordinance may need some tweaks, but what we need to do is really enforce the ordinances that are on the books. And so what you've seen over the last 3 weeks is our code enforcement officer and our police chief and those going down and enforcing the 2-hour time limits on on-street parking. We have many downtown businesses, which everybody should come and visit, but we have many downtown businesses talking about how the lack of enforcement has made it so that their businesses are struggling to survive in these difficult economic times, or it's at least one factor in the survival of businesses is the difficulty for people to find parking. So we are actively working on education. Now, if you get a little ticket on your windshield right now, it's just a warning. Unless you're a habitual violator, we won't issue a citation. But we do want to get the word out that there are parking rules downtown. The signs do say 2 hours, and we are paying attention to what's going on. So we've heard some mixed results, and we have seen things where we need to maybe tweak our ordinance just a little bit. But we'll work through those as they come up. But just be mindful that, one, we're paying attention downtown and we're trying to help our businesses in the ways that the city can, but we are just enforcing the ordinances as they are written today. We have not made any changes to the ordinances or the rules that are downtown. So that's our report today, but so good to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that as somebody who has, driven around looking for a parking place and for an event or to visit a business in downtown Tillamook. I'm sure everyone listening to this call has had that experience, and I encourage people to be persistent. And you're right, if people honor the 2-hour limits, there'll be more parking spaces.
Yeah, that's what we find is we found some people that are just hanging out all day, and it's the locals. It's the people who live and work in our downtown that are the ones that are the habitual abusers of the 2-hour limit. And so we've had some people that were not so happy that we started enforcing on it. But we have seen a noticeable difference downtown in the number of parking spaces that are available when we leave those to the visitors and those that actually want to come shop in our downtown shops.
Terrific. Well, thank you. Thanks for bringing it up and for being with us today. Well, with that, we will adjourn this call at 8:41 with thanks to everyone who participated, thanks to everyone for listening, and thanks as always to KTIL for broadcasting. Have a great day, everyone.